Why, hello there, everyone. It's Ben here from Second Dynasty. It is Friday, which means it is time to start streaming for our weekly stream. Yeah, exciting stuff. We are building up for our next frontier, which is premiering in just, what, 11 days?
Yeah.
No panic here. No panic. That terrifying noise might be Benjamin, or it could be John, who is not quite human today. I suspect he's been replaced, but it's impossible to tell, and I don't want to get close enough to find out. If you've not joined us before, this channel is all about Second Dynasty. We make 3D printable designs for tabletop gaming. Specializing in particular in large starships, but even in this case, some modular terrain in the form of GridForge. And this is Cocytus Station. Let me just turn off a few things here, mainly just the lights, since I don't think we're going to need that. This is apparently going to be used as our plan for what we're going to be showing off in a few weeks. I assume the sound is coming through okay for everyone as well, since no one's remarked anything at this point in time. Yeah, welcome everyone to the chat. So who we got here today? We have Queen Kathy, apparently, and King Solar Spirit. We've got Shergol, we've got Tamsin is here, Hazard Rat is here, Jörg is here, Sem is here, Square Peg makes games. Lovely. Alex is here. Mon Capitan, Aerospace Smith, Clive. Wow. Great sound off, everyone. So welcome to this session. So you'll notice here as well, last week we've been specializing on tribes and, focusing on tribes and the Electo, which you can see in this scene. Unfortunately, I can't make this all very fancy today. It's just going to take way too much processing power because this scene has a bunch of lights. But what I could do is load in some of my renders. So if I open my render view here, you can see some experimentation I've been doing with the coolant tiles. You can kind of just see a little bit of a pattern here. We're still figuring out how we're going to do things exactly with the final prints. We've ordered some new filaments. We are running out of time a little bit, but hey, I'm excited now. Like, every campaign, especially, my main shtick is spaceships. And whilst I really do appreciate building those spaceships, GridForge, I realize not everyone will game with a full spaceship. And they're much more likely to use terrain for certain scenarios, and a lot of that might be on space stations or colonies, that sort of thing. So Cocytus Station is a part of our Expendable experiment, where we have partnered with One Page Rules to use their Star Quest system to create a scenario that works with our terrain. The terrain is actually optional. Miniatures are even optional. But it can be played as a group with an AI essentially. So the players run the AI version of the game, but you can play it by yourself or collaboratively, which is kind of cool. So we have created a scenario for that. That's going to be a part of this campaign. Links in the description below if you want to register, because we do have a very cool power loader and 2 miniatures for free. Do you want to kick it?
Whee!
I'm going to get John to kick my PC. So if we go offline, that's why. There we go. For some reason, the fan just starts going nuts. Yes, you did fix it. We're all feeling extra special today, so this is going to be a wonderful Friday. I can feel it in my bones. But yes, this is one of the renders. Let's see, maybe I can open up some of my other ones, like this one. Doop. Doop. Oops. I always forget how to use this thing. So, this is like a diametric, was it?
It's not true isometric. It's its own thing.
A diametric image I was making, so it looks isometric, but apparently isometric is not what I thought it was. And you can kind of see some of the effects here. I think the coloring is off slightly. But this is why I can't have the lighting on in the scene. It would just die. And then I guess we might have something a bit closer of the engineering. Let's see, this one I took last night before bed. Because who needs sleep? Now, why did that not load? That's rather annoying. You know what? We can do this the old-fashioned way, just by simply getting in our GridForge project here and going into the images file. So let's do that. Images and then engineering 3B. There we go. So you can kind of see some of the cool effects that I'm going for in the actual renders. This is all GridForge, and GridForge is designed to be modular. It uses a frame system and then a tile system. And we are pretty much feature complete for the base packages. Now, I could keep producing tons of different rooms and things for Cocytus Station, but for the most part, it's going to have a research lab, it's going to have a hangar area, and it's going to have an engineering section with the power plant in it. Those are the most pertinent parts of the story. Now we might, do a variant of the hangar that looks more like a vehicle bay, or add some stairs, add multiple levels, that sort of thing. We also have an outside terrain that is going to be part of a strip mine, sort of / quarry. You could use it as a quarry as well. More the kind of thing where big machines would just remove layers and layers of dirt to get to the minerals, completely destroying the environment, which is exactly what the company is on the planet to do. So it is, corporate dystopia. You're sort of like alien universe style. Big corporations own everything and are just exploiting everyone and everything for the bottom line. So yeah, let's have a closer look. Probably didn't need to close that off altogether. So I think these sections have been shown off. There is like a lower door I haven't worked on just yet, like how this is all going to work. The brown stuff represents where we're going to have the lower level. We'll probably have some cliffs rising up, because that's also a part of it, is having rises and multi-level terrain for GridForge. And yeah, the big change, I guess, is that this was not here last week with the engineering section. So we have a power plant, we have, some batteries, and one of the cool implementations I'm going to show in a bit, we have all of these little connectors, which we've actually had since way back in the Odyssey campaign. But now we have something to actually do with that. A little side project that I got John to work on quite recently. So, but before we take a look at that, I just wanted to give a shout out to my mate Philip, who has a Kickstarter running at this point in time. Speaking of someone else who loves making spaceships, this campaign adds 4 huge spaceships. Some of them are absolutely massive. And he needs just a little bit of help getting over the line there. He's got €8,600 of a 9,999 goal. So if spaceships are your thing, I am going to drop the link in the chat. And you should check that out. Some really cool, awesome print jobs here. And paint jobs. And a few different variants. So follow the link and check it out. It's quite detailed with the campaign. It is a different style, but it does use some GridForge tiles as well. So there's definitely going to be some overlap when it comes to those. And yeah, it's nice to see the community adopting it more and more. Alrighty, so I will let you explore that for yourselves. And we can return to, let's see, Mon Capitan had a question. Can GridForge grids provide enough strength to span a gap like an air bridge, I wonder? John says yes. And then shrugs. Oh, there we go again. Let's see. I can't quite reach it from here. Let's see. As long as it's not coming up on stream. I don't know. Maybe it is. Let us know if you can hear some weird background noise, guys. This terrain will also work very well for Mothership. Yes, I'd imagine so, Alex. Is that a suspended tunnel, or would it be supported underneath with terrain? Ah, right. So, at the moment, there would be a cliff here, but like for expansions, I do have some ideas about like. Oh, that's weird. I could have sworn. Oh wait, this is the one. So I am working on the idea of having like a reverse pattern. Ignore the floor tile, that was just for height. But that would be sort of stretch goal territory. So you could either have it as a bridge gap, and that would be fine. Or you could have it being filled in. Here, I don't think it's going to be an issue holding that weight, to be honest. You'd have 4 slots there. You might want to use a tile that doesn't have air gaps, though, just because Cocytus has a horrible atmosphere. Let's see. Shogol says, I've done spans as large as 10 tiles, but had to weld the 4x4s to do that. So yeah, that's always an option, too, that you can in the slicer join them together. I think there was the reason we haven't gone larger is more about, like, peeling, I think, so that it's harder to keep the tiles flat if they're any larger. At least that's my impression. John's gone off to the printer room, so I don't want to spoil too much there. But we do. Let's switch to our fancy little preview camera and take a look. So today is the 4th of July. Happy birthday to America, I guess. Enjoy it while it lasts. So yeah, here we have the Electo shuttle. Let's see, is my hand actually turning up or not? I think it's just a case of my there was a lot of lag for me, so maybe I should switch to the camera. There we go. So here is the Electo, looking great. Here is some of that science division area over there that I showed off last week as well. And you can see the hangar here. So this is just made from the tiles available on our tribe at the moment. And it is, you know, whilst quite familiar, this is the first time we've done the floors in GridForge. But the walls are a brand new styling. And John got creative with the way that the wall colors snap in. So it is multi-material, but only in the way that the actual... Actually, I can lift off a piece here and show you.
I can show you too.
Oh, John's going to show it separately. I'll show you the finished result. Mm-hmm. All right. So they have these snap-in, shiny bits and bobs. And then, John, did you...
Yes, I have a demonstration ready to show. You can order yours today. This is QVC, yes?
Well, I guess technically this is on the store. So, yes, you can order it today. So, let's see. So you can see the piece comes without any inserts in it. We do have a version with the inserts already built in. So you have the option to do it separately or not. But see, it's just a friction fit and you can get some nice coloration just by simply making the panels different filament colors. So we're exploring a lot with colors recently. You can see how effective, even just like the gray and white, from the stripes here. What a huge difference it makes just with a splash of color. And it even almost makes the gray of the ship itself look like, hey, maybe there is a bit of color there because, you know, there's a bit of texture. Or like with the door here, just those stripes really make a difference in making the designs pop. And I've seen some really cool stuff, I think, from Shogol, and I don't know, I think Doug had some stuff out as well. Anyone else I'm missing? I feel like someone was doing some cool color stuff on top of those two.
There was, but I don't remember them.
Okay.
We'll go with Lupo. That sounds good.
Maybe. But very cool. And as you said, and as I said, rather, they go together quite nicely. And let's see, what else do we have to show off? Do we want to show this now?
Yes.
So, I mentioned before those holes. Actually, let's unassemble it first. So here we have one of the machinery parts that we were talking about before, and you can see these two little plugs in the side. And wow, that looks nice and shiny. So pretty. And then I've always been fascinated by the idea of having, pipes and cables, but a little frustrated by the limitations of FDM. And some designs, I've thought, oh, well, we could just use filament, right? Instead, we have this. And I'll be quite honest, it's entirely inspired by Lego Sci-fi cables from the 80s. I don't know if they still have them today. I haven't mucked around with Lego since the 90s. But they had these sort of flexible pipes. So just by printing in optimal orientation, we maintain it is stronger in one direction more than the other. But you can get a little bit of flexibility out of this. And we can do something like this, where we plug it into the hole. Whoop, that was close. Plug the other one in, like so. Rightio, you can see, and then we can put them on a grid, like so. And you can have cables connecting. So a cool little technique. We might explore it further with a few additional designs that could be possible. You could do ammo belts. You could do
friendship bracelets.
Yes, John's been making friendship bracelets. You can really see here too how transparent the tiles are. I really like that when you can see the gap, right? Let's see. Should I get out the light again? Just got to keep it away from John's eyes.
Ah, my eyes.
You can see the light underneath. Wow, that is really strong. So pretty. And casting cool shadows. That's what it's all about. The cool shadows. John is laughing at me. But I'll have the last laugh.
Oh, someone wants to show, I think someone asked for me to show them how to put the small bits in, because evidently people have a difficulty with it.
Oh, okay. Alrighty.
This is a quick tutorial, okay? Ready? The part you put, you have this. Oh dear. You have this.
Mm-hmm. Looks like one of our toilet lids.
You do. And then you.
What did you say? A do?
It do. I just put it in the small side first with the angle leading up gently, and then I just took my finger and I go.
That is a satisfying noise.
Yes.
So we really should rename the channel the Second Dynasty in ASMR.
We are an ASMR channel now. Not our best performing short though. Our best performing short's 18,000 views. It went down because Google found all the fraudulent views, I think. They were all me, watching it 2,000 times.
Okay.
Oh, did you already post your new YouTube short?
Yes, I did.
Ooh,
Wait, no, I uploaded it.
It's going to go up. Right after this stream is done, it will be public. So check out the YouTube short right after you're done. Okay, bye now.
Do you have something else to say?
I love you.
Like and subscribe.
Oh, that's alright. That too. I accidentally printed the wrong piece. I had to print a whole new piece.
Right. In any case, I want to make sure that are you off now? Should I switch back to me?
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, Kathy, they've been don't worry about it. It's all content, John. It's all content. So yeah, again, the geometry we were showing off was this thing, and you can see quite a number of these pipes. We've got these variant floor pieces too, so you'll be able to feed the cable down to the reactor, plug it in. So we haven't set that up in 3D because it is a lot of mucking around considering it's one of those things that's easier to do in real life than in 3D. It can be done, it's just time consuming. And I haven't bothered yet. John is nodding, so I assume even in Blender it's a little bit of a hassle.
Oh no, it's actually really easy.
Of course it is. He said, "Oh no, it's actually really easy." Now we might need to make some custom corner piece here. Although that could possibly just have a support strut instead. You can see where I'm really not finished with the designs for the pipes here. Again, we just decided like an hour and a half ago that we were going to build a separate mine scene and realized we don't have enough time for it. And I'm just like, wait, why are we doing that? Like, it can be a separate set, but we show it off in this one. So we're just going to include some of those exterior parts that we showed off maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. So we'll have cliff rises. Maybe we can do a little bit of an interesting custom pattern in there too to add a little bit of variety. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what the full results are. Let's see, and I need to get back to my chat so I can actually see what you guys are saying. Why are there 4 crew blenders in the corners? What? I'm not sure I follow that. And hay blasted, by the way. Protein recyclers. Doors and corners, that's where they get you. Yes, it is, Mon Capitan. It is indeed. For making Soylent Green. So yeah,
Soylent Yellow is my favorite.
Soylent Yellow. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this all comes together. And the idea was that the tribes releases, you can build upon them to get a cool scene. And of course, just because we're using OPR rules for our module, I think you could quite easily just convert it to Alien RPG as well. Here is the servers that we did at the end of last week. We still need to test print some of these. And, you know, there's a few minor things like to, you know, fix this wall. Apart from these inner walls here, which are flat at the back, we have designed most things to just be direct GridForge tiles that have the walls integrated. So we have some templates that people will be able to use. The templates will be made available cost-free, but licensed, right? Is that correct?
Simplified template walls will be available under the Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 license. Does that answer your question?
Let's go with yes. Let's see. John, where did the Soylent come from?
All the best Soylent comes from the best places, and Soylent contains everything a growing body needs.
Anyway, Aerospaceman says, I love the white mini-grid floor for science/medical. I made my own GridForge ones, but it's awesome. You will have them now. So yeah, the little... I like them too, like these plastic sort of tiles. I kind of... In universe, I'm calling it like a ceramic tile. Like a composite ceramic tile. So imagine like a surface that, you know, isn't going to melt away from acid burns for some reason. I don't know why there would be acid. To be honest, we haven't gone that close with our adventure. The creatures are more like they drain electricity. That's their thing. But yeah, that although I've heard a decent theory that that's what why alien drones can grow so quickly, that they're actually converting energy. Anyway, John is staring at me in a weird way. With Second Dynasty doing some of the overhanging pipes, just a reminder that my alien species, the Drashun, are arboreal and would use those to move around. I'm sure they would. They would hang from the ceilings. So these, I haven't finished. I don't think these will be in the initial launch. They might be like, the pipes might be a sort of stretch goal type thing. But the idea is that we can just slot them down. You print them upside down. Might be trickier to do with colors because the 3 different colored pipes thing might annoy John too much. And then sadly, the other thing too is that John will be heading home on the day of launch, or the day after. So, and I think I have to be home with the dog too. So we might live stream, but it might be an unofficial affair thing. And of course, it is a frontier, which means the actual files are going to be available on that day to everyone. So, yeah. Let's see. Drashoon for the win, says Alex. You got some fans in here, blasted. Hazard Rat says the tiles look a bit like Lego. The pattern, yes, it does.
But mathematically, legally distinct.
Exactly. Shadow Liger says the templates can be hard to find on My Mini Factory. Any chance of those being dual posted on printables with ads pointing towards you guys? Printables, that's the Prusa one, right? We hadn't really considered that. I don't know. Possibly. The reason why they don't turn up on My Mini Factory, though, is they actually told us this on the retreat. Not retreat, the creator gathering that we went to in France a couple of weeks back. I guess it was last week, actually. Feels like it was a lot longer. Wasn't it?
No, it's been 2 weeks.
Is it?
I think so.
Okay. Anyway, in any case, yeah, 3 weeks ago. In any case, they did say that they basically deprioritize anything that's listed for free. So that's the reason why it's hard to find. You actually have to even click a thing that says, show me free items in addition to store items.
It's
John,
worse.
It's worse than that, John says.
They say there are no filters. You have to go to additional options. Then find, under the additional options, the extra tab to then uncheck just premium items only. They don't view premium items only as a filter.
There you go. Hope you caught all that. But yeah, basically,
I'm livid.
John is livid. You have a lot of free stuff up. Yeah. In any case, we'll see what we can do. Now that's interesting. Look, little machines have disappeared. I did something where I deleted history from this, and I feel like, yeah, there's hidden geometry here somewhere. I don't know what's going on there. Let's not worry about that for now. That's a me problem. I don't want to get too focused on the wrong thing. Let's see. The double-sided desks are cool. I did the math. They are legally distinct from Lego. Much is legally distinct. Only needs to be 20% different. I hope it does really well. Everything is really slow right now. Yes, it seems like it's not a great time for crowdfunding. I wonder why that is, and also the American dollar is plummeting, which is not great when you're doing campaigns in US dollars and living in Europe. But, you know, this is just a part of the nature of the beast. We've been here before, and I'm sure we'll be back to where we were at some point. But for now, the way that we're trying to make this more available is by making it affordable. So I think for people that will be on our tribes, the whole collection, somewhere between $25 and $30 is what we're looking at. Full price, probably about 40. So that's where we're at with that. And then hopefully, we should get a push from OPR. So that is where we're looking to do something different by partnering with them. They do have, over 40,000 active players and over 10,000 active subs on Patreon. So even if just like a small percentage of those join the campaign, it would make a massive difference. And hopefully that will fund the rest of Persephone. In any case, what I do believe in is that GridForge is a way forward. And even if, it feels more famine than feast right now on the market, which is understandable considering how volatile everything is in the world. You got to remember as a creator as well, you're building up a catalog of items that are going to continue to sell over the years. Maybe people can't afford it now, but they'll pick it up in a sale in 6 months to a year or whenever, or when they need those items for a game. So the more you create, the more you have, you generate in sales. And like we have 900 products on our store pretty much at this point in time, and that all counts. Like those objects, it's många bäckar små. It's many small streams a river makes. Is essentially the translation. So what are we actually going to do with this remaining half hour? I'm kind of thinking let's make a solution for this corner. I feel like I had a different idea, which is why I'm sort of like getting hung up here a little bit, trying to figure out what I'm doing. So that is slightly frustrating for me right now, because I only just swapped this out and realized that the angled wall side does hang over a little bit. So what we probably need to do is make a piece that is going to fit all three sections together rather nicely. And the only place it should be intersecting right now is at the top, and that's easily handled. It's more a case of we just need a custom piece for this corner. So let's just start here and see how far back we need to get it. So I'm going to make sure my snapping is on and snap this back to there. And hopefully, if this is smart, we should be able to snap this to there. And this comes back here. Please, please, please. It doesn't look good. Oh, it's close, but not close enough. No cigar. Oh well. I think that probably goes right to the line, and we want to keep this. Yeah, it's probably not going to be too much of a hassle, to be honest. Let's see. If I have my grid snap on, if it's the way I think it is, it'll just snap to there. So let's leave that for now, and come back to it, because there's possibly more that we can do. However, we can for certain say that we want a solution for this frame. So we probably want the inner frame and the outer frame, and then our best bet is to be separating these objects again. Let's see. The interior, I think we can get rid of that for now. The base, let's just separate it. There we go. And then we're going to do the same thing here that we did on the other one. So we're just going to grab these faces and pull them back. In this case, I'm just scaling them back. And now I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Bring that back to there. Step down one, step down one. There we go. Now you can see the gap here is actually because of the... we intentionally have a 0.1 millimeter gap between everything, so that just allows for a little bit of tolerance. And I'm trying to think, will we still be using these same clip holes? I do think so. So we can recycle all of this, but we might be better off deleting this side for now and just taking this. Well, that pivot point is way off. Those darned pivot points. Right, John?
I love pivot points. They're my favorite. Would you like to do the pivot point game with me?
I don't know what that means, and I don't want to find out. It's never good when he starts with the girly giggles. So, we wanted to recreate that frame. We also want to build this over the top of it. So let's move aside the corrugated sort of look for now and focus on the frame. So I think we need to rebuild this. So I'm just gonna do a copy So we've got the copy to look at. And I'm actually going to delete everything else that's not this flat face. So we'll get rid of the back side as well. And I'm just going to fill this in, and I'm even going to get rid of that outer frame as well. Well, inner outer frame. So we're just looking to recreate like the base frame. Now this is special in the way that it goes up just a little bit. It has a tiny little notch on the side, but this isn't designed to interact with a level above it. That's kind of the important distinction. So I think we would need to pull this back to, I imagine it's here. That seems right. And then I'm just going to duplicate this again. And again, the pivot point's way off, but we can maneuver it in. So again, if you guys want to be notified when this goes live, we do have, sorry, I don't have my snapping set up correctly here. We do have a link in the chat. Alright, that wasn't exactly where I needed it to be, but this is exactly why we are doing this. So it looks like we need to pull this out to there, and this out to there. Although there is an argument that these should be two separate frames that sit on top of each other. So I think maybe we leave it there, and we actually I think we pull this back just enough to where we get the same separation. So if I move my pivot point up here so that it's flush with that corner, and then switch it back here, you could see it just slowly moving those polygons down there. Now, hopefully if I move my pivot point back, oops, it's not going to look perfect, but we should have that edge. Let's see. Actually, this is a good case where we want to do what we call a duplicate special with an instance. So you can see here it says instance, and if I click apply, when I modify one mesh, the other one will change as well. So if I, let's see, I want to mirror this. Whoops, I think my keyboard is set to Swedish. Well, it is, sorry, it was set to English, not Swedish. This one is Swedish. So if we do that and then rotate it 90 degrees, there we go. It looks like it's, you know, we've got this little stop gap in between. Although it joins there, it doesn't join on the bottom. So maybe we do need to modify it slightly. And then the simple solution is to, oh, this might not work actually. So I'm going to create an actual duplicate that doesn't keep the information, just so that I can move this particular piece, because I know it's not going to otherwise snap to the geometry there, because the second I try to move it, the other geometry will disappear. So this one looks like it's adjusted, and we can tell in wireframe that this is actually the clone. We can also see it says -90, -1 up in the corner, although I think that is beneath my camera. So if we move that over, oh no, that one's the same as well. But we can kind of see that the gap is kept there. So if we move this back into position, gap is gone. They're both sitting flush. Now we can think about this frame. So pretty sure that's 1 millimeter there. Let's start with 1 extrusion, and we'll do an offset of 1. So that gets us that line back. Now the question is, what comes after that? To me, that looks like 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, and then 1 or 2. I'm not sure. But let's do a sequence here. So first one, 0.5, 0.5. That needs to be in the negative. There we go. No, sorry, we don't want it to go in yet at all. There we go. Now let's go 0.5. There we go, and then we're going to go back 0.5. And then to get all the way down, it looks like we need to go... I want to say 1, but I'm not entirely sure. Now, it's got to be more than 1. So let's... You know what? We can maybe figure this out by moving this back into position. So let's delete that. And we'll just view these two items together. And then when we're going to extrude this back, I'm just going to look at where it starts intersecting this flat area. So let's move the thickness. Whoops, back. Well, those are way too big. Whoops. So there, that's 1.4. 1.41 by the looks of things. Maybe just slightly more. Close enough for our purposes, because these will be two separate meshes that get merged together. Now the big thing will be to slice this so it's going to fit to the piece as well. And let's just double check that the frame is there in place, which it is. Let's see. What's the chat saying?
They're singing your praises.
Oh, they're saying quite a lot of things, actually.
Yes, they are.
Wow, I've missed so much. Let's see. Tribe membership is automatically accounted for when you buy the Frontier. Is it? I wasn't sure that was the case. Are the color pipes in mid-air? They are at the moment. The idea is that they have these... they'll have the occasional suspended sort of ceiling beam that they'll hang from. So this is printed upside down. So we're actually looking at the bottom, not the top. And that's how I'm going to accomplish this look if we end up going for it. Again, I don't know. The thing is with the Frontier, we do have to release certain sets, and people are going to find immediate use for those sets. I'm sure of that. I'm very proud of the work that we're making. It's coming out really cool when it's done with the, dual material or even more materials. It really pops. I think we've got something a little bit different that should attract people's interest. But I'm also coming into summer. I'm supposed to go on holidays directly after launch, basically, and then ideally Albin would take over and maybe John a week of overlap there. So the idea being that any stretch goals or unlocks that we do, we will make them, but I don't want to make them ahead of time, because all of this also takes me away from Persephone. So I have some concepts in mind of what we can do, and maybe some cheap ways to visualize them, like the pipes here. But we're not going to be resource intensive with this. We have to work smartly so that it makes sense, especially if there is a chance that the campaign that it doesn't achieve the goals that we're looking for it to achieve. Let's see. I think the mid-air pipes are being addressed right now. They are right now, yes. Shergol, I am way behind you on the stream. I get your comment about a minute later than Ben talks about it. I mean, there's lag for me too. But the lag is between my brain and my mouth. And it's actually the opposite way. So my mouth is 1.5 seconds ahead of my brain. Let's see. Bit of fog of war. Imagine the roof hiding the adventure till you enter the lair. That is one thing I didn't really consider. that we could actually use some ceilings to actually cover off those parts. Not a bad idea. Let's see. Just print more NASA fabric and drape it over. I see an enclosed nondescript evil station in the distance that John invited me to. I hope there isn't any face huggers. Well, there are faces that hug you. Right?
Sure.
Ben goes a little higher pitched as you make him go fast, but John is the funniest.
I am the funniest at every speed.
We definitely need some air duct tiles for facehuggers. I've been thinking about that, and I'm trying to decide if I'm going to use, GridForge versions of our old crawl spaces. But I kind of feel like I'd want something new. I've considered doing half pipes. Maybe it would just be something that you visualize for enemies that could fit in there rather than people. But I mean, this is more aliens than alien in design. So I think that maybe we do want like more of a pipe, something a little bit different, and we can always just do the conversions of the other crawl spaces as like a tribes release or its own thing even. Let's see. Bend corner pieces and straight walls with windows will be a good variation in the future. Yeah? Corner pieces of what, though? And the best at speeds, I agree. At all speeds. Nice. Let's see. Well, we're pretty much where we're at, anyway. So I'm going to try and focus on working again rather than what you guys are saying. So I think the next thing to do is to view this in a side view. And we need to make a cut. And ideally that cut should follow this line. Let's isolate these again. And to achieve this, I'm actually going to cheat a little bit. And I'm going to make a dummy object. Which is just this object. That I'm going to switch so I know this is on an angle I want it to be, and I'm going to just move that up and just in the direction of the cut that I want to make, because I'm going to use what we call in Maya an edge cut, but it's going to be like based on vertex snapping. So we want one of these inner lines, and I'm not sure which one yet, which is maybe an issue. And I still need my tool set there, so let's view the tools before we get into here. Wait, that's not it. Modeling toolkit is what I was thinking of, so we can do that there. The modeling toolkit, and then we want a multi-cut tool. And let's see which one of these lines is the winner. I think it's this one, but I'm not sure. So we've got a cut now, and you can see this can't have been the winner because it's not going in the right direction there. It feels like we need, you know what, the best thing we can do here is actually to, rather than cut this straight away, let's only keep the edge that we want for this cut. So that would be this inner edge. Invert the selection. Now we've got our cutting dummy tool here. So it should just be a case of identifying which edge we want. So let's try this one more time. Oops, we've got to have the right object selected first. Let's try the outer one first. And we can run an inner one as well, because that way we can just delete whichever one we don't need. Which it appears... why is that not working? Is it at a weird angle? I would have thought that was a direct extrusion, but it looks like it's not. Okay, third option. It's not my favorite option, but it'll be the most accurate one. Is we take this dummy object again, and I'm just going to isolate this, and technically we can do a dreaded Boolean operation. In this case, I think it's reasonably warranted. The main thing will be just moving this aside. And let's see, we want to go that way. Oh, we need a snapping is incorrect. We don't need any snapping right now because we're actually trying to make the object wider. And then we're just going to fill these open spaces. Make sure that there's no intersection. In fact, we should probably triangulate these just to make sure it's behaving the way that we expect. And then I always get confused about these, but we want some kind of Boolean operation. So let's go to mesh Booleans, and I think we're at a difference BA. I'm not sure. No, not a BA. Let's try. We may have to invert that object as well, actually. That's probably a good thing to do. So before anything, I'm going to delete the history. After a Boolean operation, you also need to delete the history in Maya. So let's just go for a mesh Booleans, and we'll do a intersection was the winner. So here we get the shape that we're looking for. In this case, we've got a nasty n-gon, but because it's two very simple objects, one of the reasons why I expanded this object out is to ensure that there are no additional vertexes or edges intersecting with this thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete the history, and this time it fits perfectly. And we do want to turn this into something less of an abomination than it currently is. And it doesn't need to be perfect. It might not match up. If we're very lucky, very, very lucky, we should be able to just do this. I can't believe that worked. So this is one of the rare instances where a Boolean didn't do any real damage. It just achieved what we were hoping it to achieve. What are you mouthing, John? I am worried about how much typing you do. Murder drones? What are you talking about?
Don't worry about this, sir. Pay attention to your streaming.
Huh. This is why I worry. Alright, let's see where our pivot point is. It looks like it's still in that weird position that most of these sub-objects were in. So let's move it back into place here. Then we should just be able to mirror this. Let's try it in this direction, twist it in that direction. So note that these are complete meshes, and they haven't been merged or anything. So we've got our outer frame now. We don't need this anymore. You can see something that makes sense with, you know, the objects that we have here. Yeah, I think that works fairly decently on the outside. Now we need to worry about the inside, and I don't think I ever actually got a finished version of this, but I have a feeling that somewhere here I had the beginnings of it, and this should be at least partially related. So if I delete that and that, they should go back into that corner piece right where I wanted it, actually. The difference being, now I don't want these outer frames. So before I do anything else, I should probably clone this, just in case, you know, I want to create a single corner at some point. Maybe that's the kind of corner that Shadow Logo was talking about. I didn't actually check the chat to see what it was. So now we have a copy that can stay in our stretch layer there, but we need to remove these two from that layer. So when we use display layers, usually the point of them is to obscure certain parts of the scene so you can focus on a particular area to work on. So I think we don't need these. Well, actually, we'll keep this because it looks like it's been designed to fit into that nook. what we will... Actually, how much of this could we use, potentially? That's a question. Maybe it is actually better suited than the one underneath. So it looks identical up until a point. So yeah, I think we'll actually use this as our starting point, and we'll just make that match to that. So the easier thing to do is to actually remove some of this outer stuff here. So let's get rid of that. Actually, we can get rid of all of this. Let's see. I am working a little bit blind here. Not in a huge rush today. So it's okay if we go slightly over with this. This needs to get done. Let's just delete these. And that too. So hopefully now that selection gets rid of that. And we will have to get rid of those upper connectors altogether, which kind of makes sense. Actually, we were supposed to do that already. So hopefully the rest of it already aligns. The reason why I would keep that is because now I know for sure I've got these clip holes still in place, right? So, oh, how did that get moved? That was a bit weird. Actually, I moved it. Silly me. So if we get this and the frames and... yeah, that looks like it's going to work. So the next phase would be to cut out the bottom here. Just getting rid of the geometry we don't need. So let's start with these clip holes we no longer need. Take the bottom out. And then I'm just going to grab all of these edges here. That did the whole ring. And I think we also want to get one of these pieces so we can kind of see where we need to go up to. So this lower level, we want to go right up to the GridForge tile base level, which is there. And, you know, we're going to have to do some custom designs here to make it feel like it blends. I think I already stole that. It's not going to be the same pattern, and we don't want to... I don't think we even want it to be the same pattern. It's just maybe a couple of plastic sections there. Might go back and make it more interesting later, but we'll see. So I don't think I need these edges anymore, because we're rebuilding that, and we can get rid of these ones as well, because we're rebuilding those. And then the trick should just be to extrude to these edges, I guess. So why don't we take out these back panels, and let's see, we've got a line down the middle. We'll need to adjust these, so let's go there, let's go there, let's go there. Whoops. So are you guys excited for this new release?
Woo! Yeah! Hurrah! Hot dog!
I think you guys are going to be impressed with the exterior stuff too. Like, it's beautifully simple in a way. That makes it kind of elegant. And John is much better at that sort of thing than me.
Sir.
Well, I was paying you a compliment.
Thank you.
So let's switch this back over to... we no longer need to reference that. Switch this back over so we can just see this. And I think we just start rebuilding these edges. In fact, let's do this the easiest way possible by just snapping to these existing points. Like so. So I could be doing like a weld here, but I'm just going to merge the vertexes afterwards, I think. And actually, let's not get rid of that pattern because it might help us with coloring. I don't know. And let's just create a little bit of geometry here. Let's go extrude to there. Do the same here. And then ideally, we just start closing this off with bridging until we're done with this full side. So there we go, that closed that off. Close that off. And we just do the same thing on this side that we've been doing on the other one. So let's do this, and this time I'll actually turn on what we call vertex, target weld, sorry. So when I'm moving these, I'm actually welding them to the same vertex at the same point in time. So all the way down to there. That leaves us with our final quad. Let's close that off. I think then our best bet is to just extrude. Let's see, I need to merge these like so. So let's just extrude this from here to there. Do the same thing. Oh, that's unfortunate. It doesn't matter though. They're all ending up in the same spot. So let's just move these vertexes down and weld them together. The point being, we need these faces on this side. So, did you just make a choking sound when you saw this?
It's not a choking sound, it's a vomit sound. It's a swallowing back with vomit sound.
Well, enjoy.
I have to clean this up later, don't I?
Nope, I'm not done. Just relax. Alright, let's just close it off with an end gun. And we're going to do the same with these sections as well, but I'm actually going to take some time to merge them together now. So I'm going to just take out, let's see, these horrible interior bits where they overlap.
Hey, by the way, don't forget, like the video. I am not allowed to go eat sushi unless you like the video. So please do. I see when you do it. Thank you.
It's not really true.
You're right, I'm lying. Like the video anyway.
So, John likes to use deceit.
Lying is productive.
I prefer to win you guys over with good old-fashioned fancy schmancy design that you enjoy. Alright, we can combine these now, and it should not matter the fact that they're, once you merge objects, they both become a new object together, so we don't really have to worry. We've already got the line in the correct place, I think. Yep, it was just a trick of the light. This thing should be our old corner that we want to get rid of, because the new one does that. I'm not going to focus on the paneling right now, but if we combine the base... Stop tapping! I said it was okay to go over, John.
But I have to tell you something.
Is it something other than we're over time?
Yes. No. It's that I have a special gift that's coming off the printer shortly.
Okay, so keep going. So I just moved the pivot point back into the corner here for the sake of making this easy to use, I'm going to move it all there. So now this object, in theory, every single part shares the same coordinates. So if we delete the history and freeze the transformations, when we export this, it will export together. And that will be our new corner. The difference being that we will have to have a custom corner for the opposite side to deal with that sort of the shape. And that cannot be avoided. So there is a strong possibility that I would actually export the tiles together. And that might not mean that they print together, but yeah. John is the dirty deceiver. Okay. So let's see what it looks like without the wireframe on. You know, it'll look much nicer when it's green and feels like it's, you know, maybe has a fancy schmancy pattern. There are some cool custom objects in here. I like how it's turning out.
It is nice.
It's a simplistic design, but it feels sci-fi. It prints easily. You can get some really cool color variations. In particular, the sort of like double-sided walls come out very nicely with the stripe in it, and you can easily change the color of that stripe to determine that it's a different sort of area of the base. So although we probably won't get to, like, say, habitation, like a galley, lots of different areas of the base that they're not pertinent to the adventure, we have other tiles that can work, so we're probably not going to do that for the time being. If we get massive demand, hey, maybe we'll run a second one at some point.
If we hit 100,000, we'll add a sleeping quarters. 1 2x2 area.
Anyway, what did you want to show, John?
Oh no, it's not ready yet.
So am I supposed to keep this ball rolling?
No, you can end it.
Well, guys, thank you for joining me. It's been wonderful to have you with me. Again, check out... let's see if I got it again. Yes. Check out GamesArt's latest Kickstarter there with 4 huge ships. Help them get over the line. And until next week. Yeah, check out our shorts too. John, you fixed that one. Yeah. Whilst we were streaming.
Wee.
Nice. Well done. Yeah, thanks guys. It's really nice to chat. Sorry there wasn't as much in there at the end. Is there a 270-degree corner? What? You mean go in the opposite direction? But on the inside? Yes, there is. It's just this one. So it's a bit different. Although I might do a variation in the end that is like more squarish, but yeah, this is a slight accordion look. We'll see. That's at least going to be the base version. So yes, there is one. Anyway, guys, I'm too distracted. I'll be back next week. We'll be much closer. We'll preview the outside. We should have that done by then. And again, don't forget to check out the link below. Like, subscribe. But if you follow the link to our Frontier page, you can get that free power loader, those 2 miniatures. And stay tuned. We'll be back before you know it. Or some such. All right. Bye, guys.